Good evening, everybody. Let's hope everybody can hear. Sound check, David.
I think my dulcet tones should be coming through if you're not technically incompetent.
Let us know if that's working, everybody. Right, welcome to our live stream. My brain is completely fucking fried after a day at work. I honestly don't know what planet I'm on, but you're welcome anyway. So welcome to our regular Thursday night hobby stream, starring me and this idiot. And of course,
and the horse you're riding on.
all these idiots, wrong way, Paul. All these idiots in the chat who are basically stars of the show. We're just sort of like the weird fucking enablers. Hello. So I tell you what. As that's the first job of the night, let's do that before I get into anything else.
Ewok sees dead people.
I see dead people. For some reason, YouTube has lost my chat window. That's really helpful, YouTube, because I can't scroll.
Well, we've got
Here we go. We've got Darren.
We've
got Orino. Darren first in the chat. We've got Orinoco. We've got some tosser called David. Don't know who he is. Paul, welcome back, sir. I hope everybody enjoyed Paul's little visitation to Planet Yellow Belly last week. We've got Ewok Kebab. We've got Crispin, and I know I just saw a minute ago. Because of Ben, you people will see him as, but we know him as Crispin. Hello, Upworlder, stroke Trevor, and hello, Spam and Egg, stroke David's other half. Or rather, David strokes his other half. You know how it works.
Wow! Fucking already lowering the tone after 2.25 minutes of streaming, you bellend.
Admittedly, I don't need to go into too many details. Oh, fucking Darren's on another dragon build. Reaper Temple Dragon. I tell you what, mate.
Oh, those Reaper Dragons are fucking awesome, though. They are addictive.
To be fair, you've got a few of the big Reaper giant models, haven't you? That I've seen.
I have.
They're not, considering they're like soft, cheap shit PVC, they're not bad. I don't know what they're like up close for mold lines and bits and bobs.
Again, right? Just flick down to my camera.
Let's go. So we want content.
It's not a Reaper giant.
Go.
But it's a Reaper.
It's a Reaper big boy.
Thing?
What's that? Some sort of
it's a Reaper big boy
golem thing or what?
Yes, it's for my Frostgrave with no paint on him, but he's sat on my desk.
Oh no, Ewok's got COVID. Get away, lurgy. Oh, hello, Skink. Stroke V.
And then we'll go to a That's the cape of a fire dragon. The fire giant, nice.
I mean, it does look very... I mean, considering that's cheap plastic, that looks pretty crisp, again, son.
It's PVC and it's flexy, but fuck me, the detail.
That looks pretty crisp for cheap plastic. I'm suitably impressed. Although, as I say, I've seen them unpainted up close when you've bought them, and they do look pretty good.
They are good.
Yeah. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, that last dragon in your diorama was metal, wasn't it, Darren? Yeah, so it is a PVC dragon, which I expected it would be for... Oh, no, this one's metal. Okay, right, I get you. So it is very much in the vein of what you were already doing with your last project. For everybody who doesn't know, go and check out Darren's project on Tabletop. Coverage can be found on Tim's stream, which I was on... Tuesday night. Darren's also been awarded...
go? Did you have any technical difficulties?
We did have technical difficulties at one point. I think it was mainly because Tim, I kept posting the links to sort of like the next project in the chat, and then Tim kept missing them. So I don't know. 250 quid on whiskey? Fucking hell, man.
Better be some damn fucking good whiskey.
I was going to say, I'm a pharmacist. There are cheaper ways to deal with COVID. I mean, if you want to go with that, then go with it. But I'm just saying that might be an expense that's unnecessary. How many bottles? That's.
I've just seen fucking Ewok's reply to Upworlder, where Upworlder's gone, oh, sorry to hear it, Ewok, and then Ewok's gone, what, about COVID or getting engaged?
Okay, I'm really intrigued. So that's 4 bottles of scotch. What did you buy for that sort of money? I mean, I do like my scotch, but I'd never spend that much money on a bottle of scotch. £35 is pretty expensive. I mean, I'll stretch to that for a Christmas treat, but
Christmas tree?
Treat. Tea, you tit.
Enunciate, you Lincolnshire prick.
Fucking bollocks. Right, so, after 4 bottles, man, that's crazy. I bet you won't be opening them soon. It'd fucking bring tears to my eyes to crack the seal on that, the amount it costs, but then I am a tight ass.
It's when there's fucking... It's when half of it goes as fucking angel share that you get really pissed off.
So before we get into telling everybody what we're going to be doing over the next 2 completely pointless waste of your life hours, what the fucking hell you mean? How did Tim's stream go? What the fucking hell were you doing? You should have been watching.
What was I doing Tuesday night? I was playing Farm Sim. Because I'm a sad fuck.
Right, so not only were you playing Farm Sim without me...
oh, God, fucking right, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Where's the violin? Where's the violin? Where's the salt shaker?
Okay, nice, Ewok. Right, I'll check them out, mate. It's just probably a redundant question. I take it they get highly recommendations from you and you know them, as you've spent that much money on them, or whether they're just complete, or you a madman and they're just on spec malts. I assume they're all malts, probably like 15, 20 year plus, I think, for that sort of money. Anyway, yeah, go on then. Let's hear this fucking feeble excuse.
No, you were roasting me for playing Farm Sim.
Yeah, without me.
Finish your roast. Finish your roast.
And missing my fucking moment in the start. I was hobnobbing with the stars.
You don't need anybody else to stroke your fucking ego. Let's be honest.
Tosser. Right, okay. So, what are we going to be doing tonight then, Dad? What are we doing tonight, David?
Taking over the world.
Like we do every Thursday. Okay, so what we'll be doing over the next couple of hours, we'll follow our usual routine. David and I will show you what we're going to be hobbying on. Warning everybody, I'm probably not going to do an awful lot of hobbying because I'm going to be downloading fucking photographs like a maniac and trying to build slideshows. So the second hour of the show isn't a complete tedious yawn fest. We're not saying it won't be anyway, but that's what I'm going to be trying to avoid.
He's going to at least make a fucking concerted effort
I'm going to make an
boys.
effort for it to be interested. So yeah, we'll show you what projects we're going to be working on. We will talk briefly about what we did at Gaming Club this week, which is a good point.
I've got no pictures.
I don't think I've got any pictures.
We will talk to you.
That one will be an oral experience. Okay.
Just be careful with your enunciation there, Paul.
I was going to say the double entendres are fucking proof against the enunciation errors. And then we'll talk some bollocks, share a bit of news. Do you know what? There's actually some good stuff on YouTube at the minute. So we'll talk about that. There's a few interesting things coming to market.
There's a Kickstarter that I'm fucking excited for.
Yeah, I've got a tab up for that. Then, hopefully, about 9 o'clock, even with us being 15 minutes late, we'll get into our main topic. So we went with something very thematic, very Halloween-y. We thought David and I would talk about some of our hobby horrors, where things have not gone entirely to plan, and we've had either regrets or, shall we say, somewhat negative experiences.
It's all gone a bit Pete-tong.
And obviously you guys can chime in with yours, and if you're watching later on YouTube, stick yours in the comments below. So, do you want to go first? I've got your webcam primed. You may as well show everybody what you're working on.
Go, gadget, go! So, if this fucker wants to actually focus and not be a blurry Indian man, I've got moustaches to paint.
Okay, so you're still working on your trench offensive?
I've literally got moustaches and beards to do, and I'm done.
Going to interrupt you a minute. The I can't even pronounce that. Bunaban is, I'd recommend definitely. Lachea is a good, had a good saleswoman, but I've tried one. It was nice. Okay, shutting up about booze now. No, that's fine. Ewok, you chomp on about booze, son. Carry on, David.
So yeah, I've got beards and faces to finish on them.
Yep.
And then if I move shit behind me, Bollocks, I've just dropped half of it on the floor. Gloss.
Spoiler for later.
We are gonna start painting something from 2022.
Fuck me. That's only a year. You say that like it's like, this is really old.
Wild West Exodus starter set.
Yeah,
was previously covered on stream.
I tell you something. Wild West games, they're in a renaissance. Just going through, in preparation for Tim's stream on Tuesday, going through the on-tabletop project system, there's a lot of Wild West out there at the moment. Everybody seems to be... Paul nearly spilled. He nearly spilled his tea. That's very good. Well, there you go, Darren. You're welcome,
Paul,
mate.
What glue did you use to glue your trousers to your leg? Did you use super glue?
Super glue would probably. Well, I can't imagine unless Paul's got sort of disabilities he hasn't mentioned. I can't imagine plastic cement would stick his trousers to his leg. You know, so like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Did I mention I was a fucking full amputee, hip amputee on the right side?
No. It could have used some epoxy.
True. Okay.
Super glue.
Yeah. Super glue will do that.
Rest in peace, those trousers.
Yeah. Good luck then. Stick them in the freezer.
But if they're glued to his legs, he's got to stick himself in the freezer.
Hack your leg off, mid-thigh, stick that in the freezer. It'll be fine. Right, okay. So that's what you're working on then, mate?
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm done.
You're done. You're done already? God, that was quick.
Well...
I haven't really got anything planned. I've shown these on camera before. I'm quite impressed. Everybody knows who watches us regularly. I bricked my phone. Well, didn't brick it, but I absolutely fucking smashed the screen into so many pieces. It wasn't funny the other day. Just before stream, in fact, last week. So I had to get a replacement. Rather than get the other one fixed, because to be fair, I'd had it a good few years and it was probably due a new phone. And I'm quite impressed with the camera on this one. It's rather sharp, isn't it? I think the images are coming out rather well, particularly as I haven't set anything up because I've only had the phone a week, and the last thing I'd thought about was setting everything up for filming on stream. But I started this little project a few weeks ago when we did a Blood Bowl Sevens event at our local club, and I've got to finish base colours on these guys, so there's a little bit of clean up to do on the two human linemen here, and the dwarf guy I've got to do beard, hair, paint the ball he's carrying, etc., in his boots. So I'm going to be picking at those details, trying to get them all in the same... get them to the same level. Seen Ewok's comment about the glue on the trousers. It's not one of those, it's PVA, I swear, moments. That's fucking genius.
I mean, it's even more inappropriate, Ewok, if you work in a school.
So, that's what I'm going to be working on later, after I finish downloading fucking photos fiercely in the background. If the audio...
Question.
Go on.
Question, boys and girls at home.
Yeah.
What colour do I do the Indian men's beards?
Black, you fool.
Grey?
No. Oh, well, I suppose you could do. I'd be more tempted to go... I mean, I don't think they're particularly old guys. I'd just go black and then maybe dry brush some grey if you want a little bit of a mature, middle-aged look. Red and white. Paul, stop it with the... Mate, Christmas is weeks away. Just stop. That's helpful. Skink, hair-coloured.
Oh, God. Fucking staple things to people in a minute.
So, I mean, to be fair, Indian subcontinent, are there any more popular hair colours than black amongst members of the Indian population of the Indian subcontinent? I think it's a fairly consistent theme, isn't it? I
haven't really seen a ginger.
Oh, so I'm going to download this picture. Save to download.
Which ones are you downloading, sir?
The ones that you've just sent me on Facebook.
The ones that I sent you nearly an hour ago on Facebook.
Yes, because I've been busy. So yeah, club night then. Do you want to go first while I download?
You go first because you're multitasking and you can't multitask because you're a bloke. I plan to play either some Billion Suns or some Drop Fleet with Ricky, and we hadn't really decided, and we ended up playing Billion Suns and introducing Ricky to Billion Suns with some proxy minis. So I was mainly using Drop Fleet Commander and DZC minis for the game itself, and we had a whale of a time. We played.
How many times have you played Billion Suns now? You played it once against me.
What? So like 4? No, I haven't played it against you yet. I was raving about it when you went to Scotland. Played it against Wayne. Played it with you, Ricky.
Ricky, yeah.
I played it with somebody. I played it with Luke, I think.
Okay. I think I maybe sort of like was
you were
watching
rude
your
and you were in
Wayne game. I
Scotland.
think your game with Wayne was the one I paid the most attention to. Can't remember what I was doing at the club, but I was obviously free to neb and keep drifting over to your table because that's the one I probably remember.
We played a 4 board scenario. So we had a demolition contract, a infection quarantine contract, shipping contract, and the Rex's Pearl. And Ricky won. Ricky won his game. Ricky made the most profit, and we both actually profited. Somebody didn't lose out at the expense of the other fucker.
Nice.
As occasionally happens with Billion Suns. Quite a nice intro game. Ricky quite enjoys it, and I may have sent Ricky down a rabbit hole. Because I've said to him, well, go find some minis, or if you can't find some minis, start designing your own. So he started to teach himself how to use
he
CAD.
said about getting into 3D CAD and that. So
yes, that's my doing.
Okay.
Because I said to him, like, he's got time, etc., and he's constantly waiting on me printing shit for him. So why doesn't he burn some of his time waiting for me to print shit, making shit for me to print for him? Then it's a cycle.
Right, fair.
So that was that. We're going to have another game at some point soon, and we're probably going to start doing like a narrative campaign style-y, which you might want in on, to be fair, mate.
We've talked about it before on the show.
No, yeah, but
not
narrative campaigning. We've got to play it all in a certain period of time. But say to ourselves, between now and next year, we'll have 6 games. Do you know what I mean?
If it's because, to be fair, that's Frostgrave. Do you know what? In the recent past, Frostgrave is one of the few games where I haven't felt overly pressured by the whole player narrative campaign thing.
Yes.
So
that's what I'm saying.
If it's in that sort of vein and it's quite relaxed, then yeah, I'd be up for that, bud.
Yeah, that's my plan and intention.
Okay, that sounds cool, actually.
Do it over like 12 months and see who profits the most.
Yeah, and who does the best out of it, because that's what it's all about. Is it's like gathering profit for your
ships.
For your ships. Okay.
Yep.
Paste that into there. Just bear with me.
What did you get up to then?
So at club, I made and I don't want any fucking smart aleck remarks, but unlike
you can't read a calendar?
Shut up, twat. Did you see, before I move on, an Ewok's comment scrolls off the screen for the viewers at home. Ewoks put, I'm going to print a Santa and paint it with Russian uniform and Iraqi side. Oh, fucking Ewok.
We know what's in Ewok's stocking for Christmas then, don't we?
So Darren says he's played Billion Suns with the optional solo rules. I found there's very little time to dick around. You really have to go full on for the missions in order to make a profit. To be fair, that's not a bad thing, Darren. Games that don't allow durdling, and those sort of games are quite good for a club format where you're on a time.
Me and Ricky. Bear in mind, it was Ricky's first game and like only my third, and it's been a country year since I last played some Billion Suns. What's it called? We still managed to get the 4-table game done in about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well,
So
with,
when you're better
with
at
Ricky
it,
with it being his first game.
Yeah.
Fucking Ewok. Ewok was concerned about the scale. He don't fancy Agrax Earthshading some ship the size of a canoe because he half read the rules.
But
Crispin, why didn't you comment? Because for those who are regulars, Crispin, again, go over to On Tabletop, check out Crispin's fantastic project for his Billion Suns starship that is essentially the size of the Space Shuttle Challenger.
You can go to orbit on it if he straps enough fireworks to it.
It is pretty fucking incredible. Oh, okay.
Are you planning on playing that in a car parking lot at some point, Crispin?
To be fair, his club have done mad things like that before. They basically just have all the assets spaced around the room, and it's a bit like a museum exhibit where you walk around, sort of like looking at everything, I think. Darren was saying it's not about the time it takes to play, but what you actually get done. That's fair, mate. As I say, the comment probably would have made more sense if I knew the game more, if I was more familiar with the system, and what was involved, if you know what I mean. Now, I am planning to get into it at some point, and I've even committed to the models. I can't remember the name of that place we
Brigade, sir, Brigade.
David, you know, there's one good thing about being a doom scrolling fucking knobhead. He just files all these nuggets of information away. Yeah, Brigade miniatures, was it? I bought some fantastic little spaceship miniatures. I don't think they're for any specific game, but they do lots of different factions.
No, they have got 2 games that they're for.
Oh right, okay, they're for a specific system.
Yeah,
but
they're all. Yeah, we're picking for others.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh my god, the stats troll. This is good because the chat's trolling itself at this point.
The chat is just feeding
it's
itself.
going into some sort of bizarre frenzy of fucking nightmare.
It's who are we jumping on and kicking next?
Right, so I've got my I've got all the picks prepped, I think, for our main topic because, as I say, there weren't. But we'll get to that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, should we do some canoes?
Go on the local river?
Yeah, talking about
playing
canoes.
Billion Suns.
Yeah. So Skink got given a copy of first edition Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay by somebody, a fucking generous guy by the name of Dan. Whose heart is fucking incredibly huge, gave V a first edition. I don't think it's a first print, but it's the first edition rule set for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. So, Skink, as he appears in the chat here, or V, is going to be geeking the fuck out with that, with some of his mates in Nottingham. And I said to him, when you're sort of like finished familiarizing yourself with it, I would fucking love to just own that, have that book for a week just to stoke the nostalgia fires and read. Yeah, I know, Paul, and it's nuts, absolutely insane thing to get given. So yeah, let's talk about some YouTubey stuff. So
No. You haven't covered what the fuck you did at club.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Don't get skipping things.
As I was saying, well, because David fucking interrupts, as usual.
Oh, fuck off.
I normally am fairly organised with my club time, and I plan my games well ahead in advance. Now, unfortunately, because David and I obviously play a lot of games together, we share a Google Calendar or something, and I read David's entry as mine, so I thought I was playing a game with Ricky this week.
No, please explain to the boys and girls at home what you actually mean by we share a calendar, for starters.
Well,
So we'll both pencil in for the same day and who we're playing and what we're doing, or with each other, Paul's entries in this calendar are like a pale yellow.
I'm colourblind.
David's entries in this calendar
I'm yellow,
are
orange.
bright fucking orange.
I'm yellow orange colourblind, mate. Didn't you know?
You're fucking ridiculous. And you criticise me. The reason mine are bright orange, boys and girls at home, I'll let you into a little secret. I drive a bright orange car everywhere, and everybody criticises me, and it's like a tangerine. And in the Google Calendar, the orange that I use is tangerine, so it matches the car. Not that I'm sad.
Yeah, you see, Orinoco's on my side. You see, the colours, they should be separated. You've got two colours in the warm palette, very close to each other on the colour circle. It's easily confused. You should have picked, like, yellow and purple. Or, do you know what I mean? Thank you, Orinoco. Tangerine fucking nightmare, Darren. Tangerine dream my ass. Anyway, we get sidetracked again. Right, so normally I'm fairly organised, but I fucked up massively this week. So I ended up going with no game planned. So, but I thought I won't be hasty. David was like, oh, that's all right, we'll play a 3-player this, we'll drop somebody, you can drop into this, we'll do Gaslands, we'll change all our plans, whatever. And I was like, no, let's just wait, because you never know who's going to turn up at club. And as it happens, I'm super fucking glad I did, because V turned up at club, and I think he'd got a board game planned with somebody else who didn't show. So to cut a very long story short, we played a couple of little board games. We played Elect Accounts, which is a card game. Who makes that, V? Is it Cubicle 7? So we played the little Elect Accounts card game, which is based on the Warhammer Fantasy IP. Just a fun, what was it, about 40-minute card game. Then we had a bash at Underworlds. Yeah, Cubicle 7. I thought it was. We had it was the Dire Chasm starter, he said, without a great deal of confidence.
Yes, it was, because it was Dread Pageant versus the Lumineth wankers.
And yet again, oh my god, you see the General Lee fucking Dukes of Hazzard fucking spam in the chat. I bet Daisy was responsible for a whole lot of repetitive beats. To be fair, as a teenager at the time, yeah, Daisy was one fucking... She was any teenage boy's fucking wet dream, that girl. Jesus, what a figure. Oh, Tangerine Bean Dreams a band. Oh, are they? What are they? Are they sort of like, sort of like weird prog rock? They sound like they should be a prog rock band. If they're not a prog rock band, I'll be shocked. But if it's not metal, I haven't got a fucking clue what it is. So, anyway, where were we?
What you were playing, Elect Accounts and Underworlds.
That was it, Underworlds. I'll say it again, right? David and I often fucking lampoon Games Workshop and their fucking game design. But so, I'm not even bothering anymore. So often lampoon Games Workshop and their game design currently. But do you know what? If you take Warhammer Underworlds, if you play it as a board gaming experience, don't fucking get into all that modding your own deck and fucking
metering the shit out of
it and create a finely crafted fucking race tuned beat your opponent in the face machine game. If you just grab it, and particularly any of the self-contained starter sets, but as long as you stick to as long as you don't spread too wide with your warband packs, so as long as you buy packs that were released around the same time or in the same cycle, and you just chuck them down with the decks out the boxes, against all sorts of opponents in all sorts of contexts, we have had some really fucking good fun with that game. The game, I think V ended up winning by 1 point or 2 points in the last, literally the last phase of the game, last turn of the game. it was just great. I absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic gaming night, completely and again, completely unplanned, completely improvised. Just two friends. What are we going to do? Oh, V says, let's just do this, and it was just fucking great. Absolutely awesome. So as you hear in the chat, thank you V for that. It was a bloody good evening, and I enjoyed it very much. So there you go. That's what I got up to at Gaming Club. Videos. So
no news.
Well, no, it's not news really. I suppose it is sort of news. Mini Wargaming Studios, absolute behemoth in our hobby, but a bit fucking well. Although they're getting less. I don't know if anybody who follow. I don't know if any of you guys like Mini Wargaming or even follow them. They don't get mentioned much in the OTT crowd, which I'm deeply enmeshed in, thankfully. But Mini Wargaming, they obviously made a huge name for themselves on YouTube, being one of the top 40k Battle Report channels. They do AOS as well. Obviously, Games Workshop have been trying to burn down their brilliant gaming IPs yard by yard for years now. And do you know the good thing about that? It's forced Mini Wargaming to branch out. They now do a second channel where they do all sorts of things: bolt action, battle reports, other gaming. They do all sorts. They do narrative stuff. I've seen Gorka Morka, and they do loads of weird stuff, and it's brilliant. But what they're doing now is obviously Dave from Mini Wargaming is trying to develop a new game called Ravaged Star, I think it is. I'm terrible with names, so correct if I'm wrong, just correct me in the chat. So the idea is it's going to be miniatures that Dave has sort of like had input on the design with some I can't remember the name of the company, and now they're going to they've already done a wave of miniatures which were like chaos proxies for 40k. I can't remember the name of that sort of that project, but that's all done with, and now they're moving on to developing Ravage Star, the game, which will use those miniatures and other miniature lines that they've designed. They've designed space dwarves, and they've designed space bugs. Not they don't really share much aesthetically with Tyranids. They're much more they're very beetle-like, compact, but very heavy set models. Not whereas some of the Tyranid sculpts are very spindly and spider-like. These are much more compact models. I'll be fair. I can't remember what the factions are called because they've all got weird exotic names. The alien ones, the beetle ones don't really appeal to me. The chaos ones are a bit over the top as well for me. They're a bit, they're a bit sort of like Rococo with fucking curls and fucking swirls and projections and shit everywhere. They're not really my sort of thing. The space dwarf ones look pretty cool though. They're very reminiscent of they're sort of like they're very reminiscent of the Mantic Firefight space dwarves. What the fuck are they? Forge Fathers. They've got more of a boxy aesthetic, very angular armor. Everything is quite chunky and militaristic looking. They're pretty good looking models. But anyway, in support of the project, which I believe is going live on GameFound on the 7th of November, he said without any great confidence, Matthew, who's the other big hitter at Mini Wargaming, Matthew and Dave are the original people who set it up. Matthew is the man who's bringing the rules to life. And Matthew started doing a whole series of videos on his thoughts on game design, his sort of like commentary on designing the rules, and he's done a video on choice of dice within a gaming system and how to use them. So he's made a few comments about re-rolls and dice modifiers and that sort of thing. Fantastic video. right up my alley. And this video is about initiative and whether, the two big, the two big 800-pound gorillas in the room, the I go, you go, and the alternating model by model or unit by unit, and all the different spectra in between, including random sort of random pseudo-random alternating, etc.
Yeah.
And it's a great video if you're into game design and if you're into thinking about how the game's working in front of you. Then these videos, they're well worth a watch. They're 15-minute videos. They're really bite-sized by some comparison to some of the stuff that gets made for our hobby, and I'd really recommend them. And they're very different to a lot of the mini wargaming stuff. That it's good to see them making stuff that's not 50-minute or hour-long battle reports for an edition of 40k that everybody wishes would just crawl under a rock and fucking go away. So that's the first one. The next ones are all you, mate. So this is the TT Combat Instagram page. Let's make sure that's gone live. Yes, it is.
Oh, this came up on Facebook because I joined the... So we spoke about it on stream, what was it, this time last year?
Yeah.
About... They're releasing a lot of 32mm minis. There must be something in the pipeline. And then they teased and egged us on a bit, and we're like, oh, it's got to be coming, it's got to be coming. And we called it wrong because they did hold their hands up and admit, look, we're cock teasing you lot. We're in development works on it at the moment. These minis will be being used for a 32mm skirmish version of Drop Zone Commander.
But it's not anywhere close to marketable.
It's in development, yes.
Because we thought it was way more imminent than it was, but actually they were just doing some nice promo miniatures for this, for their effectively their not tournament, bloody
show exclusives.
Yeah, expo season, wasn't it? Basically,
yeah,
the Games Expo promo models and such.
And then it's been on the back burner, and nobody's really said anything since then. However, this cropped up, which is a picture of a 3D render of some more 32mm models, some UCM Praetorians, I want to say, and an announcement that we're going to get some more information on this soon.
Yeah, I mean, again, you could say, well, there's not much here. It is just yet more fucking tease, and it is yet more fucking tease. But to be fair, I'm quite excited about it. TT Combat are another. They're another company. They're a bit like Mantic. That they do get all of their games, with the exception of Drop Fleet, which is the space one, where you've got space combat in basically in orbit around planets. That really
you've got time for.
It didn't grab me. It was just like, it wasn't bad, but it was just like meh. And again, because I'm not really sold on the whole spacecraft models, I didn't really, there was nothing there to make me go, okay, well, I'm going to keep trying this until I've unearthed what's good in it.
Until it clicks.
I was just like, yeah, I've played it. It was fine. I don't really want to play it again. Should we play more Drop Zone, or should we just explore that a bit more, or should we explore Carnivale a bit more? Do you know what I mean? I mean, to be honest, I'd probably even get more excited about Rumble Slam, just from the fact that the miniatures are really wacky, and I think it would be a great game to try and lure my grandson into the hobby, because he's an absolute wrestler nut. So that, you know, as I say, while I've got a lot of time for their games, as I say, with the exception of Drop Fleet, and I am actually excited for this, because I really want to see what they can do with this, because obviously the miniature skirmish game that they've got is Carnivale, their big one, and it works really well. It's a great game. It's really well designed. It plays really fun. It's got a lot of nice touches to it.
The other thing is, isn't Dave from original Hawk War Games still on the dev team?
Last I heard, he was involved in keeping the projects that he originally spawned alive. Whether he's been involved in developing this new game, I don't know. I haven't seen...
but this is me just thinking out loud here.
Yeah.
Because Dave is very, very precious about what he will and will not release. He only releases good shit.
Yeah, okay, which might explain the the crawling pace of the development process if he's holding quite a strict
Reserved tone.
yeah, if he's holding quite strict standards to it, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. So yeah, we're hyped and excited for this. We are hoping to bring you more information soon. Sorry to be cock teasers like TT Combat, but watch this space.
Yeah, and before we go off TT Combat's Instagram post, I also wanted to show this because David sort of spotted this. I don't know, where did you see this, mate? On Insta or Facebook?
What's this?
It's the fantastic new model for the patricians with like the S&M
This was
feel.
Instagram. This was Instagram. So it's a patrician's dominatrix.
Yeah.
I think it's called a submissive noble, and the actual model you're playing with is the guy wrapped around her thigh. Fuck me, is it an amazing mini? I collect patricians. This is going in my collection.
Yeah, I mean, I don't collect patricians. I've got a lot of Strigoi. I've got plenty of Strigoi to keep me going warband building at the minute. If I get a second one, it'll probably be gifted, although I've also looked at Rashar. Those ones appeal to me, but I can't fault this. It's a fucking great miniature. And I mean, to be fair, I did also think about Vatican, just because they're like completely different to the Strigoi.
Yeah, just the polar
The miniatures
opposite.
are about 50-50 with the Vatican, though. Some of them I think look a bit sterile and a bit, and some of them are a bit too over the top, but some are just stunning. They're, as I say, they're about 50-50 in terms of the miniatures. But I can see why the miniature grabbed your attention.
It's just amazing. It's a gorgeous looking sculpt. It's a really cool, unique idea, and it really just sells exactly what the nobles are about, or the patricians are about in Carnivale.
Orinoco's thought if Ewok lost the beard and kept the moustache, I don't know. Are we saying that this is Ewok actually in miniature? Is this
like
true?
Paul.
Is this true, Ewok? Did you actually pose for this? Is this Mrs. Ewok? God dear. Or the soon-to-be Mrs. Ewok, I probably should say. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, V. What a great miniature to just pick up, just to say, oh, I'm going to have that miniature and put it in some random stupid project later. Awesome miniature. And I don't often rave about miniatures, but Ewok says possibly. So
I deny nothing.
So this was another one David sent to me. Well, this is not exactly what he sent to me. What he sent to me was a thing about Fireforge Games plastic samurai, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, this was on Facebook this evening. I was doom scrolling Facebook just after I got home from work, and Paul loves a samurai mini. Paul loves anything Japanese.
Do you know what? Test of Honor is still that game that got away. I
fucking saw these.
I
and was
assembled
like,
some miniatures for Test of Honor for
God.
a friend, and I was like, oh, so fucking close to pulling the trigger on this game.
Evening, Shakos and Sprues.
Yes, evening, sir. Good to see you. Now, the good news is these miniatures are fucking amazing. I think, well, I just don't know what to say. These are just amazing miniatures. The bad news is, as you'll see from this screen, they're all fucking out of stock. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't really looked that hard because David only zapped me. Was it yesterday or today, mate?
Tonight. I got home from work tonight and screenshotted it.
I haven't seen if these are available from other outlets, third parties. I might be able to pick them up from Wayland or wherever. I haven't really looked. But they do look absolutely amazing. So, yeah. So watch this space. I have actually backed a Kickstarter that's due for delivery any time. I think it was due October, so it's already a bit late. Harakiri Blades of Honor, which is think Gloomhaven, but with an oriental theme just sort of pasted over the top, and you get the idea of what Harakiri Blades of Honor's about. So it's like a pseudo dungeon crawler, mission based, progressive board game. Basically, Shagos and Sprues. This is like the hobby hangout that Tim does on a Tuesday, but it doesn't have Tim in it, so it's better.
Or worse,
That'll teach you to play BattleTech when we want you in the chat. Stop it!
Stop playing your games and get your ass back here.
Stop playing your BattleTech. We won't be having it. Darren. Ooh. Yeah. Bushido again. How many times have we talked about Bushido on this bloody stream, and I still don't own any? Don't get me started, mate. Fucking hell. Oh, hello, James. Good to see you, sir. Now we know who you are. Yes, this must be very confusing for our YouTube viewers, but we all come to this stream with aliases. So feel free to build yourself an alias and an alternate identity, and then come here with it.
Hobbyists Anonymous.
And then, literally minutes before we started.
Yeah, because I was again doom scrolling through Instagram before getting ready for stream, because that's more productive.
But actually preparing.
Achion's full.
Yeah.
Achion's full. Fucking hell! It's just released.
It's got an R in it. It's Acheron.
No, I'm doing the Spanish pronunciation. There's no R in the Spanish one because I watched the video introduction on backing it.
Don't the Spanish roll their R's?
No, he didn't roll that R.
Acheron, isn't it?
No.
So, Acheron?
North Star have him at a decent discount and he's very tempted.
Oh, okay. Are we talking about the Fireforge? Thank you. In fact, actually, now I think about it, that bloody thing you sent me was a North Star advert, wasn't it? Because I remember the logo in the corner, North Star Military. Now I think about it, with that screenshot you sent me.
Yes.
I am a fool of a tuck. Bloody hell, decent discount. They're only 35 euros there. How much are they? 20, less than 30 quid?
What, North Star?
Paul, you sent me the same one as David, I think. You sent me the TT Combat one, didn't you? The 32mm. Anyway, it's not all about you. You had your time in the spotlight last week. Don't get greedy, mate. Oh, Darren. Schoolboy error, mate. Schoolboy error. Oh, yeah, you did. Do you know what? Actually, I still haven't looked at that. No, that is a good shout, actually, Paul. We may bring that one up later. I shall have to... What did you send me that as an Insta message? I think you did, didn't you? Or was it Facebook? I shall try and find it. Yeah, Paul did link me into a French company that's doing World War One models, I believe it is.
Ooh.
24 quid for the Samurai. That's right. Okay, James, stop now. Otherwise, we'll be spending money. So, yeah, Acheron's Fall. We did cover it briefly a few weeks ago when Jerry did his playthrough video, which David didn't watch because rude.
I need to go watch it because I need to decide if I'm backing it in the first 48 hours or not.
On Tabletop, Jerry did a playthrough of, I believe it's like an early version of the game, a beta or an alpha. It's got the thing that appeals to me about the game is, again, it's Captain fucking I'm into rules and mechanics. It's got a great system for simulating drift in space. Similar to, it's like one of the nicest things about Armada, where this is the Mantic game, not the Fantasy Flight space game, Star Wars one. But Mantic's Armada, when you use your movement templates to move your ships, You have to make a move before you can execute any turn, which represents the momentum of your ship and the fact that you've got to make that movement before you can adjust your direction. Obviously, I think it's lifted directly from Black Sails, is it? Which is the Warlord game, which is sort of like was the kernel from which Armada was spawned with its slightly simplified rule set. But Acheron's Fall has a very similar thing to simulate the momentum of spaceships during the movement phase. And it's got some great rules for representing how energy weapons would actually work in the in the huge distances of space. It's got a load of things to recommend it. I'll be fair, it is not a great table pleaser. I mean, as you can see from this slideshow that they've got, if I can skip through it, that is not a fantastic looking table. I mean, it does look a bit drab, and I can see why some people are like, yeah, nah, whatever. But it's as I say, for the rules side of it, appeals to me. And to be fair, this is the thing that I didn't like about Drop Fleet. Drop Fleet, the whole rule interactions, the whole height in the altitude and atmosphere and orbits, it all felt a little bit fiddly and clunky and a bit of a pain in the arse. And also, I felt that I think we were playing on a starter mat or something, weren't we, mate? But the gaming space felt too small for what the game was trying to do for me. As I say, maybe if I'd given it some more time, it would have worked out, but it wasn't really for me. I don't know is the honest answer, Sir Orinoco. I don't know, because obviously this is Reaper. Is it Reaper? What's the name of the company that's doing it?
Not a clue.
Ramper. I knew it was something like that. Ramper Design. So I think they're basically licensing the Infinity IP for this, because I know it's based on the Infinity IP, but it's not actually a Corvus design, is it? Unless this is a subsidiary of Corvus, and I don't know that that's the case. As far as I'm aware, they're
Where's
just
Gaming Gandalf when you need him?
Yeah, there is a man who would know, but he's not here. So
what's
there
his
you go.
excuse?
And I think that's pretty much it for stuff at the minute. I've got a feeling there was one more thing I wanted to mention off YouTube, but I've forgotten what it is. Just bear with me a second.
'Cause you're old.
Let me just have a quick squiz at my internet history, and let's see if there's anything that's going to. Oh, they did another Old World announcement for the fucking Warhammer thing. Basically, they told us nothing. No, I think the only other thing I was tempted to shout out was the painting phase of Ardalessio Cavatorion. And I haven't watched it yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be awesome, because I do like watching the painting phase talking videos. They're head-to-heads. I think they're really good and a really good watch. But as I say, I haven't got round to it yet, so I won't recommend it till I've watched it, because it might just be boring bollocks. And that's it, I think. Which takes us as 2 minutes to 9. And
No, I haven't had a proper look, Shakos. I'm looking shortly, because my money may be leaving my pocket for this, because it's Infinity-esque. It's a space game that, okay, Billion Sins is okay. The Drop Fleet minis are gorgeous, but the games don't quite play how I want them to play.
Yeah, that's probably true. What say, Jerry's probably waiting for the project system to load for Terrain Fest. It can be a little slow. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, mate.
Right.
You.
Before we go to main topic,
yes.
Can I call out Wild West Exodus and War Cradle, please? Can I just get on my soapbox a second?
God, do you want your camera up? You're gonna have a wine.
No, it's not a criticism of the models. it's a criticism of the website. You used to be able to download all of the stat cards together as one big PDF for all the factions and then go through and print what you wanted. Now you have to download each fucking card individually. And secondly, now you have to download each card individually. They've removed the little painted icon or the little concept art with the colours on from the models card, so you can't even tell what model's what if you don't play the game regularly.
Right.
I know that sounds like a me problem, but it's fucking irritating because at least historically, even if you didn't paint the models the way that they were done in the concept art, you could tell what was what. Why? Why did you make the game harder, Warcradle? I'm done getting on my soapbox now.
I don't know is the honest answer, mate, because I haven't really looked at it.
I will step down. I will step down from the soapbox. Soap. It's not a soapbox anymore. I've just realised what it is.
What?
It's the gritting bin.
Oh yeah, well done. Did you see Shakos and Sprue's Hobby Halloween Stories, Gulu's new website?
Yeah, actually,
that was getting a
have you
bit of
been
a
on
roasted
that?
in our club Discord earlier, mate. I don't think anybody's particularly impressed with it. Oh yeah, where is? Shall we do? Can we do that? Can we do that? There he is. There you go, David.
Am I getting salted?
Yeah, you're getting salty now. That obviously I should have done that at just the right time, but I was late because I was listening to him whine. So to answer Upworlder, what am I bringing on Monday? Anything new? So we're playing Malifaux, and what I've been trying to do is I absolutely
What you do that a minute? I'm going to do
I
something.
binged like a bitch at UK Games Expo and bought every single model pack that has the Oni keyword so that I could take what is probably one of the worst masters in the current rendition of Malifaux, Asami, and give me more options to just summon models to solve problems, which seems an approach that you probably should take with that master, to make her make her better in the current version of Malifaux. So I've got a ton of stuff to get through. I managed to get my Emerald Oni painted, which are like the ones that are walking fire bombs. Basically, you summon them, they run at the enemy, beat the shit out of them, then explode in their faces, just out of spite. In answer to your question, Trevor, I want to get my Tengu painted. They're the really fragile but high movement flying vulture-like demons. So they can move really quickly. And they'll give me an option to actually get to place scheme markers in odd places of the board a lot quicker than I can at the moment. My army's a bit static. Yeah.
Can you place scheme markers on roofs of buildings?
I think I think as long as I don't think you can't place scheme markers on anything that's got like an infinite height. So you can't place a scheme marker so that it overlaps
an infinite height element.
A strategy marker. But I think you can pretty much put them so that they overlap anything else. So yeah, I think that is something that you can do within the rules.
Right. Seeing as we were a little late for stream, we can run a little longer. Just
hang on a minute. How the fuck does that work? We run late.
Well, we were 5 minutes late starting, so therefore we can be 5 minutes late starting the main topic.
Let's see how. Fuck this.
That's how logic works, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Obviously, in your world, I tell you what, I didn't do on Monday. I didn't get any more bloody coffee stirrers from McDonald's, so I still can't finish this last bastard base for my.
Do you want me to bring some on the weekend?
If you've got some spares, mate, that would be great. Because I've got to finish this last sodding base so I can put my Ottomans on them and then prime everything.
Your Ottoman?
My Ottoman. My.
Why have I got images of just fucking anthropomorphic otters in World War One outfits now.
Oh, there's an idea for your next Kickstarter, Burrows and Badgers. Fucking an entire... In fact, oh my god, can you imagine Kickstarter, Burrows and Badgers, The Great War? I'm imagining it now.
You could have a
It'll be
turtle
amazing.
tank driver.
Yeah. What can we
A
do?
hawk pilot.
God, yes.
We're giving this shit out for free, boys and girls.
Yeah. Come on, we want to see it. Yeah, Badger with a Panzerfaust. Badgers would make good Nazis, I think. All that black and white.
Right.
Darren says, I was thinking of a padded trunk when you mentioned an Ottoman. How very English. How very 1970s, Darren. Have you seen my new Ottoman? Oh dear. Very dear.
Or a big double bed with storage space underneath.
Right, shall I put my old man, I can't see any more goggles on, then I can do some painting while we chat. Let's do that.
Right. Do you think we've made them wait long enough?
Right, should we do that? Let's do the main topic then. So, we thought in the spirit of Halloween, we would cover hobby horror stories. And bizarrely enough, or perhaps encouragingly enough, I said to David, oh, that's a genius idea, Eagle riding a V-bomb. Yes. See, you can screen cap all of these brilliant ideas for later. What's the guy's name who runs Burrows and Badgers?
I don't know. Northumbrian Tin Soldier in it.
No, it's one guy in it who's responsible for most of it. I follow the bloody guy on Instagram, and I still can't remember his name, even though it appears in my feed every bloody day, and on Facebook. Somebody put it in the chat before I go mad. Ben Wishes? No, definitely not Ben.
Are you having a stroke, Paul?
Hang on a
Because
minute.
you sounded like you were just making noises and gurgling.
Oh, fuck, I've taken it upstairs. No, I haven't. Here it is. Michael Lovejoy. So yeah, come on, Michael. Sort your life out, mate. We want Burrows and Badgers, The Great War. Do it now.
Just link him stream afterwards. It's fine.
That's it. Oathsworn Miniatures is his company. Thank you, Darren. Yeah, I will. I'll hashtag him. Stop it with the fucking Dukes of Hazzard. Right.
You could have a Komodo dragon Japanese Banzai soldier.
Oh my god. Oh my god, the genius ideas just keep coming here.
Look, we will do anthropomorphic miniatures full of no money.
A raccoon GI.
Yeah. You know what you could have? A squirrel British infantryman.
Yeah, squirrels would be good. Squirrel sappers. Oh no, hedgehogs.
No, mole sappers. Mole sappers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Red panda ashigaru. Oh my god. Okay, stop, people. Right. Okay. So anyway, I said to David, won't it be cool? Let's just come up with 3 hobby horror stories each, and let's talk about them over in the show. And do you know what? I've been doing this hobby since I was a teenager, which is a lot of years, over 30.
I was about to say, can you do the mental math?
And do you know what? I really found this fucking hard, bizarrely enough, to think of three instances where my hobby journey turned into either a fucking nightmare or something at least that gave me massive regrets for embarking on it. And before we move on to anything else, do you know what? I think we should just take a moment and pause. And you guys feel free to comment in the chat your sort of like reflection on this. But I think we should take a moment and actually think, how fantastic is this hobby that you can craft 30 years of experience gaming, collecting, painting, modeling, and actually find so little powerful negativity in it.
Yeah, there was an absolute
Do you
car
know what I
crash,
mean?
so to speak.
And the other thing that comes off of this thought before we get into it, the thing that comes off this thought is again, it made me reflect on the current social media representation of our hobby. If you were somebody who wasn't necessarily in the hobby, and if, say, I mean, probably the best example is a significant other of somebody who is. So you're watching them consume endless fucking media posts or YouTube or whatever. You're watching them doom scroll through, you know, endless bitch posts about the latest rules argument in 40k, or why is GW shit so overpriced, or, you know, why can I not get this locally, and this game's shit, and this game's, you know, fucking too obscure and nobody wants to play it. There is an awful lot of just pointless bitching out there. And I don't understand what these people are doing wrong or what I've done right. Because I tell you, I haven't even had a scintilla of that amount of negativity in my real gaming experience versus the digital fucking nonsense out there.
Again, I've been doing this for nigh on 10 years, and I struggled.
Yeah. Well, up until your brain bursting genius moment before we came on, you'd only got 2, hadn't you?
Yeah, I'd only got 2 until like 5 minutes before stream started. But we'll gloss over that subject matter.
I mean, if we asked the same question of you guys in the chat, just give us a fucking flurry of posts. Would you have found it easy or hard to come up with 3?
Or again, right, here's an idea, Paul.
Where you said, do you know what, this really pissed me off.
I was about to say, here's an idea. Give them 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everybody post how many hobby horror stories that they can think of in 5 minutes.
Fair comment.
Yeah, while we start talking about shit. Now, how are we doing this? Are we doing this from...
I'll tell you what we're going to do.
Least to best?
I will curate the order and build it as a narrative. And I'll tell you what's coming up. So the first one that's coming up is your exploration of digital camouflage painting.
Oh, yes. So
for everybody at home, there is now a picture on screen to represent.
Yeah, I can think of more times that I've injured myself, Darren.
Yeah.
Than had a hobby horror story.
I mean, again, I did think about jokingly talk about the time I melted my brand new, less than a week old red grass wet palette nearly shut with a spilt pot of Tamiya fucking extra thin plastic cement. But while that was a piece of absolute buffoonish tomfoolery, it was hardly a horror story, because I could just go out and buy another fucker. You know, it was inane, but it wasn't horrific.
So, Drop Zone Commander, nice little 10mm scale game. Nice.
I mean, that's a legit one. Upworlder. Upworlder says that the only one that comes to mind is putting the sails on the Armada. And again, those Armada fleets without build instructions, if you're brand new to the hobby, not the easiest thing. You know, and not everybody's going to go and look on Mantic's website for the assembly guide. Carry on, mate. Tell us all about digital camouflage and massive fucking regrets.
You can see there the scale of a relatively large vehicle with an underslung vehicle underneath it. David here decided, well, it's modern or slightly far future warfare. What does that need? That needs digital camo.
10mm, that's the ideal scale.
Exactly. So off to the internet I went and I found Mask FX. And this is no discredit to Mask FX's products. They are fucking amazing. They apply really well. They come off really well. That is not the problem here. The problem here is trying to apply tiny little Mask FX digicam stencils to a 10mm model.
Do you know what? And if I could just interject here, mate, that is a moment of pure inspired genius. I know I want to do digital camo on something that's 10mm. How should I do that? Freehand it? No, masking. That's definitely the way to go. What a tosser.
It'll be quicker. I can use the airbrush. I haven't got to get the brush out and everything will be nice and crisp and clean. And it was nice and crisp and clean, but fuck me. Catching the model and knocking 3/4 of a stencil off when you've just done like the base colour and the second colour and you're like, right, I need to get the third colour on. Oh, fuck, I've just taken 3/4 of the fucking masks off because I'm handling the mini to paint it with my airbrush. Inspired genius, some may say.
Or inept fucking gormlessness, others might say.
But it was a chore. And now the next problem I face is I want to expand my UCM collection. Guess what Muggins has got to do to expand his fucking UCM collection?
I tell you what, this listen closely, people, because this is going to have echoes for what is to come. I'm going to call you out here, right? So you're not an OTT backstager. Shame on you. But on the Sunday show, Jerry was discussing he's painting some figures. Now the spaceships are actually Babylon 5 miniatures, I believe, produced under license. And I do apologise, Jerry, but I forget what you're actually painting them for. But Jerry's currently doing, like, camo on them. And I've got a feeling they're pretty fucking tiny. Well, it's not camo so much. He's doing, like, zigzag black on red striping with, like, white outlining.
Yeah.
And I think he's using a series of masks. And his stuff's... They're fucking tiny as well. And I'll be honest, I'm gonna be proxy Jerry here and say you're a fucking wimp because Jerry's managing it just fine. He's doing them for Billion Suns. Thanks, Darren. See, Darren was paying more attention than I was.
Yeah, but I didn't say I was a wimp for doing it. My point is, it's just a horrible experience, and now I'm penned into a fucking corner that I've got to go do it all again.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even park that and go, right, that's that fucking excruciating pain over and done with, and I never have to touch that again. Oh, no, I need to go buy some more UCM minis.
Well, to be fair, you are going to want to expand that collection, and it's inevitable that you're going to have to revisit the agony of painting in a way
10mm digicam.
Yeah, 10mm digicam, fucking idiot.
And then to top it off, I didn't learn my lesson, and guess what I did on my PHR? 10mm fucking splotch camo. Fucking twat.
Oh dear. So, to be fair, the most horrific thing about this story for everybody at home is your shocking lack of insight, frankly. Is that
We'll come to that later. Because you know what one of them is.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you're right there. Your shocking lack of insight definitely is going to be a recurring theme. Okay, so that's. Are you happy? Have you said everything that you wanted to say?
I've said everything that I wanted. Yeah, I've ranted, I've vented. It's a bit cathartic. We'll see how I feel at the end of the evening, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. So, we're going to move to one of mine now, and it very much mirrors, in a way, what David's just said, in a lot of respects. So, I present to you the dynasty of Kemhak. Okay.
So yes.
back in the day when I played 40k heavily in 2nd and 3rd edition, it was like, Necron, what's fucking Necron? So one of the things I didn't have when I got back into 40k later on was a Necron army. So I bought myself a Necron army and I started painting it. And I was
This was
like,
what, 7th?
It was late 6th, early 7th, I think. Yes. 7th edition sounds about right. So I was like, so I could just, and obviously you look at everybody painting Necrons and you think, yeah, just spray them silver, slack on some Nuln Oil, dry brush them a bright silver again, and just leave it at that. Paint the guns and you're fucking done. I thought, I'm not doing any of that shit. I'm going to capture the entire Egyptian aesthetic, and I'm going to go for bones, and I'm going to go for these teal blues, and I'm going to have the classic green for the energy, and then I'm going to throw in some metallics just to reinforce that robotic feel. And then I thought, oh, and then I'm going to give everything black faces and black detailing, because Kem Hak is modern Arabic for blackface. And I thought that would be it's a great name for the dynasty, and I'll reflect it in the painting scheme, and it'll be fucking awesome. So I bought like 150 quid's worth of Necron models, and I just sort of like attacked this thing like a rabid Wolverine. And then I had
Did you have rabies though?
fucking regrets. The warriors weren't too bad. So I painted like 2 boxes of warriors, some immortals, and I did a lot of infantry, and it was like, it's fine. Then I started getting onto some of the bigger, more complex models. The wraiths that are pictured above. The
Question.
fucking yeah, go on.
Did you ever paint your death croissant?
Yes, but that one I cheated because I was already sick of it. Yeah. So, basically, it was, I got these models. Right, Games Workshop models are incredibly detailed. Well done, lads. Congratulations, you have created incredibly fiddly multi-part plastic models that have got an incredible amount of detail on it. So like these wraiths have got like the bone legs, but then there are gaps in the armor and the plating where you can see the original core, like almost the skeletal core. So I had to paint the bone, and then I had to paint the metallic between all of the bone, and then they've got the carapace. Well, we put the blue on the carapace, and then they've got the abdominal part underneath. Well, we'll paint that black, and then we've got it just goes on and on and on.
You've got your favourite minis on the table there, haven't you?
And I regretted this paint scheme so fucking hard. It actually became a bit of a gag and a meme at our hobby club, where people would threaten to buy me wraiths for Christmas or wraiths for my birthday just so that I had to paint the bloody things again. And I was like, I'm done. And it's exactly as David said with his UCM. The problem is my Necron project, I got it so far. I want to make my not immortals, my Lichguard unit. I want to take it from 5 models to 10. I just don't want to fucking paint them because of the amount of fiddling and piss-arsing about and the number of different colours on. I just can't bring myself to do it. And it is actually putting me off. By the time I got to the big pieces, like the fucking Monolith and the Death Quass on the Night Scythe, or Doom Scythe, as I built it as in the end, I basically just I went, right, black is the main fucking colour, airbrushed the whole thing black, did little green detail lines for between the panels to show sort of like energy, and then I had to worry about painting the pilot, and it was basically 2 colours and I was fucking done. And some metallic details.
You took the ejector seat option.
Oh, mate. It was, and again, the thing is, again, it's one of those, it's a trap. It's such a horrible place to be in, because I'd already invested, I don't know, fucking 100+ hours of painting. I'd got like a half to 2/3 of an army built, and I just had to push through it. And now I've got like a 1,500, 2,000 point force, but it doesn't play very well because the unit's too small, and I need to have less choice, less options, but bigger units. But I don't want to fucking do any more painting on it because it's a nightmare. And I don't want to like just basically ditch the paint scheme and go for something completely different because then that'll it breaks the army. Do you know what I mean? It won't look right. And it's awful. And it ended up being an absolute fucking horror story. And it's a tragic horror story because, like I say, I've still got unpainted Necron. I've got an obelisk upstairs. I've got more Lich Guard unpainted. I've got some of the old. They changed the names for all the bloody. Oh, I can't even remember what they call them now. The big guys on the floating hover platforms.
Praetorians?
No, they're like the super heavies, and then they're destroyers. Thank you. And now you've got Seraptech destroyers or whatever. They've all got funny names. So you've got ones with spindly legs that look like crabs, and you've got the classic old floaty ones that have a funny name now. Yeah, yes. Oh, that's a good idea.
What's that?
That's a good idea. I hadn't considered that. V's just stepped in with a law savior, Thrall Dynasty. Thing is, though, that wouldn't work with a unit, would it? I could understand you could add.
No, you've got to paint a few units that way.
Like, I wouldn't have a Lich Guard unit defending my Warlord, and half are vassals or thralls, and half are like loyalists, would they? Yeah. That's the thing, Darren. It's like, can I actually bring myself to just buy an army painter metallic spray, just fucking zero everything I've done? It's a tough one. It is a tough one, and I have considered it just to expand the project. But I tell you what, touch wood, I've not made this mistake since. If I'm tackling any big project, the first thing that I do is almost plan how easy is this to fucking do and repeat. And as soon as it,
fucks up.
It's like, again, the Blood Bowl figures I showed everybody earlier. I know I was basically having deck tan, a red, a blue, and maybe some black details and flesh. 3 colours. Well, we're having no more than 3 colours. I'm not painting, so like you.
That's what I want.
You can't see very clearly, but like where you've got plates overlaying plates on the Blood Bowl armor, I'm not worrying about color adjacency. I'm not worrying about losing definition in the model. All the fucking armor plates that overlap each other, they're all being the same bastard color, and then I'll do like blue for the undersuit, and then that's it. We'll walk in a fucking way. Gloves and socks in a different color. Do you know what, Darren? We've all done it. I loved the aesthetic of the Eldar Harlequin models. I watched my mate Chris back in the day when we played second edition. I was in the thick of it when the first Harlequins were released, and we were playing with rule supplements out of White Dwarf because they didn't have any kind of official printing. And Chris, when he was already doing Eldar, he went into it, and fair play to Chris, he was a fucking awesome painter. And this was back in the early 80s, guys. We didn't have airbrushes and fucking stencils then. It was freehand city all the fucking way. And he painted some amazing Harlequins. Did I go anywhere near it? Did I? Fuck. Because exactly as Darren says, you can see it coming. And I should have seen this coming, but I didn't. So that's on me, I guess. Right, let's move on to another one because we're eating through the time with our moaning and bitching. Let's go to one of yours, mate. So this one, let's do this one because this is it's still in the same ballpark of painting and hobby generalities. So if you watch the stream regularly, you'll be familiar with David's fantastic experiences with the ingenious product that is Liquid Mask.
I've never had problems with Liquid Mask until I applied it to Morrigan. And then my world turned upside down. The details and the crevasses in the model decided to adhere very well to the liquid latex, so much so I couldn't get the fucker off. Because I
Yeah.
thought, right,
Yeah.
I'm going to cut corners here. I've painted all my red beautifully with my airbrush and done all my nice edge highlights and everything on it. I'm going to airbrush the base colours and the base zones down for the undersmoke, because that seems like a nice, good, genuine idea.
But I want to protect
And
all
then
those lovely reds.
Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll peel the liquid mask off easily, like it came off easily off my Vindicator Dozer blade, where I had no issues.
What, that large flat, completely
Yeah, that large
unblemished-
flat surface.
That
Yep,
large
that
flat hard plastic surface. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, that large hard flat plastic surface. I'll just pull it off.
I'm sure
and
it'll behave exactly the same on this really soft
Yeah.
PVC, highly textured folded surface.
Yeah,
Right? It'll be the same. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Gloss. I'll pull it off, and then what I'll do is I'll just go in and zip with the airbrush, just my highlight color on the last of the things to give it like a little bit of an OSL glow. Boys and girls at home, learn from my mistakes. Don't fucking do it. It was a terrible idea. So much so that the what's it called? His follower minis that I'd also applied liquid mask to their legs on, because I had done their skin really nicely, and their tabards again in a similar style with the airbrush and the edge highlighting and everything else. Those models I had to scrub with isopropyl alcohol and start again.
Yeah. So,
And even
if
scrubbing
anybody
it with isopropyl alcohol took me 2.25 hours to clean 5 minis.
well, which brand of liquid mask is this? Vallejo, is it?
Vallejo liquid mask.
Okay,
Don't touch
so
it with a barge
if
pole.
anybody wants to replicate David's experience, I can recommend, if you go to your newsagents and ask them for a cheap box of Swan Vesta matches, and on the side of that box there'll be a piece of sandpaper. If you apply liquid mask to that and then try and peel it off with your fingers, you'll sort of get David's experience in a nutshell.
And not have spent hours nicely doing the model prior to doing said experience.
Yeah, that is obviously one downside. You won't be able to see all that lovely paintwork being ripped off.
Or scrubbing it away with isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah. This, to be honest with you, I really can't understand how it took us so long to think about this one, because this one was what we almost saw him cry live on stream. This one, if you want to go and explore our back catalogue, this actually unfolded in the public domain with David having that awful realization of what exactly had he done.
Live on air for everyone to... Oh, shit.
Oh dear, what an absolute piece of fucking genius. So yes, apparently, who knew it, liquid mask isn't great on highly textured soft surfaces.
Do you know what I have learned as well, though?
Yeah.
Right, after the experience with the liquid mask,
Yeah.
I went on a similar experience with blue tack and hard plastic miniatures. So the Underworld's Griffhound that occasionally rolls around at the start of stream,
Yep.
is my Underworld's painted Griffhound, and I did the feathers on the head really nicely, did them with an airbrush, did some nice dry brushing on them. They looked really, really good. I was like, right, now this body is, again, in GW's fucking egregious nature, completely and utterly smooth and muscle defined. I am not going to get anywhere near the level of detail that I want with a brush. Let's try airbrushing, because I want to push my airbrushing skills up.
Because getting the smooth blends on those muscle shapes is a real chore with a brush, in it.
Yep. So I was like, right, let's just do it with a airbrush. It'll be quicker.
Yep. No, I can see the logic. I can certainly see where your brain was going.
Smothered the head in blue tack because, again, we're not going to make the same mistake of apply liquid mask to the fucker. Airbrush the shit out of it, and admittedly, the blue tack did peel off relatively easily.
Yeah.
Other than where it had stuck in every single fucking detail. It was proper blue tack Orinoco.
Yeah. Oh God. To be fair,
So David and masking miniatures is just
yeah.
a fucking no-go.
To be fair, yeah, these are both masking catastrophes. I've only really used masking once, and David convinced me to give the old blue tack trick a try with my Japanese tank for my bolt action project. And while I did find applying the blue tack and shaping it to give me the camo patterns I wanted with the uneven striping was a bit fiddly, it didn't work half bad for a first effort. And it certainly wasn't bad enough that I would like never again. But I think that pretty much says it all. There is a massive difference between a 5-inch long 28mm tank with huge areas of flat resin and metal versus something like this. Yeah, Shakos says he's only ever used masking for canopies. Again, mate, I think the thing is, I'm sure liquid mask is an awesome product, and I've seen modelers use it for big, 152 scale or bigger tanks, planes. If you're applying it to something relatively feature-free, flat, smooth, it's a dream. It's a great product. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You've got incredible control with where you put it and where you don't put it, and it comes off quite easily. But obviously, there are some jobs it ain't good for, and David's found all of them. So we're going to go away from painting now, and we're going to talk about my other. When I thought about hobby horror stories, admittedly, Games Workshop is sort of like going to feature, because if there's a company that provokes a massive love-hate fucking relationship with people in our hobby, it's Games Workshop. They have moments of that essentially post about mid-90s, they have an absolutely toxic, shitty business model punctuated by moments of brilliance. My first hobby nightmare came very early in my young career as a war gamer with these little guys. Anybody remember them?
Some squats.
Apparently GW didn't remember them. Well, certainly not after about 3 years they didn't. They just completely forgot they ever fucking existed. So my massive squat army, which was like 2 boxes of 36 of the plastic squats, converted whirlwind, converted land raiders, converted rhinos, weapon teams, mole mortars, tarantulas, I had about 20 bikes, guild bikes and trikes, the multi-melter trike I had ancestor models, which you see pictured here. I had the fucking Hearthguard models, both in exo armor and as the metal figures. I had so many fucking squats, all beautifully painted. I must have had an entire company level fucking 40k army by the time I was in my late teens, early 20s. And then, no, you're not playing with your toys, you can fuck off. And it is a horror story, to actually be so invested in a game, in a hobby project, and to just have the company that's built all of this lore up, built these fantastic models, the rules, just for them to say, do you know what, we're not actually going to move forward with that. We're going to take everything else in our game that we like, and just this one thing that we're not really that arsed with, and you can fuck off with it. And it happened again immediately after this. So the squats were getting squatted. I thought, well, that's fine. They basically play like Imperial Guard, which I think is basically why they got rid of them, because they were very similar to the Guard in a lot of ways. They were just like toughness 4 guardsmen, with motorbikes instead of horses. And they basically said, oh, we're just going to explore the Imperial. So I got into Imperial Guard again. I had an entire company of about 30 odd guardsmen with las rifles converted with underslung grenade launchers. I had an entire 30-man company converted with jump packs and close combat weapons. I had an entire 40-man company of bloody penal battalion troops with their exploding collars and their green jackets. I had like 20 odd Rough Riders. And half of the guard models then just went, no, fuck that. When we went into 4th edition, 5th edition, it's like, no, we don't really like the idea of Imperial Guard with jump packs. You're not having them. Horses, no, we've gone off the idea of horses. You can't have them. You've got to have tanks. Sorry, horses are last year, and it was like
We're not allowed. We're not allowed guys with exploding collars anymore.
Yeah, Penal Legion. Oh no, we're not sure about that. That feels a bit non-PC, blowing people's heads off. It's like, oh right, okay. So yet again, hundreds of hours.
The best is though that you rolled one into the other.
Yeah, even in the 80s, 90s, this was still a lot of money, people. Don't get me wrong, Warhammer wasn't as expensive as it is today, but it was still not a fucking cheap hobby by any stretch. And I consider myself very fortunate to have been able to own the collections I've had, and to some degree still got. I did give away and got rid of a lot of my Imperial Guard, but I kept example squads just for like the nostalgia of it. So I've got a unit of Rough Riders, I've got a unit of my jump pack converted guys with their, I think they were called battle shields. They were not quite as good as storm shields, but they did give you like an armor bonus save or an invul in combat. So they were all hand cut out of plastic card, and stuck on their hands.
Hand built.
All hand converted. Oh, it's just fucking bollocks, man. So bollocks. And they did it twice on the bounce. So yeah.
And explicitly to you, only you.
Yeah, just idiot me. So like, oh yeah, you fell for that once. Here, look, we're gonna fall for it again. And
yeah, I got you.
I think, to be honest with you, they're still doing it. I mean, I was watching. Obviously, Orinoco, you're dead right now. I mean, I'm talking back in the day. So back in the day, there wasn't Firefight. There weren't. I was a teenager. I didn't know of anything other than Warhammer because my mind and my attention were monopolised by Games Workshop. I appreciate that there were other things going on in the world even then. But was I aware of them? No, of course I wasn't, because this was pre the internet. I only had White Dwarf, my friends, the Games Workshop store. I didn't know about anything else in wargaming. I didn't even know historicals were a thing. I can remember in my teenage years seeing historical wargame tables in movies and TV shows, thinking, "Well, that's not Warhammer. What the fuck's that?" Yeah. Because information was much harder to come by, particularly where I lived in rural Lincolnshire, for fuck's sake. It's not as even if I lived in the centre of a big city. I lived in the middle of fucking nowhere, even here in England, which is the size of a fucking postage stamp. Even we have places that are relatively remote. Certainly socially remote, if nothing else.
Yeah, but it is a backwater, mate.
So no, I totally get what you're saying. Now... Of course, now I can go up. If I'd have kept my entire collection, if I'd have kept it all, then yeah, I'd be like, oh, that's fine. I'll roll these fuckers out. And to be fair, this is exactly why I took these photographs, because I dragged out all my squat minis to actually have a look at what I've got, so that I could. He's here! Hello, Timothy. Did you win? Did you win, mate? So Tim's going to tell us, some dude on YouTube, for everybody who doesn't understand the slang and the lingo, is Tim. Tim is going to tell us in a minute whether he won at Battletech, which I'm assuming is where he won.
What about Assassin's Creed? I mean, it almost made the cut, but I haven't done enough for it to be a horror story.
Yeah, that's not so much of a... Well, to be fair, the thing it's got in common with a horror story, Tim, is it's a complete work of fiction, as in he hasn't done anything.
You lying bitch. You lying bitch. Get back in your box.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
I'll fucking do better than pictures. I'll do live fucking video evidence, you cunt. There you go. Fucking half done.
Half done. Hang on a minute. Bring that closer to this camera. We can see that looked very grey from where I was sitting.
It's
Oh right, well done. That's a terrain piece. Excellent. What's that? 1 down, 174 to go.
there's colours on him. Fuck you.
What shades of grey? That's your hand.
There's red on him.
Oh, well done. Tim did win his game. So yes.
Oh fuck! I've just lost the mini under the table. There you go. There's another one. He's brown and blue.
All right then. God. All right, let him off. He did.
I've just dropped 2 on the floor. Fuck's sake.
Well, they're gone. Forget that. So there you go. Yes, there's our Games Workshop horror story. There had to be one because Games
I'm
Workshop,
surprised it came from you and not me. Actually, there's another one now I think about.
Well,
if we get time at the end, we'll talk about it.
We'll do our also rans at the end. So let's go to your third one then. Right. So this one is what we would call in the trade a self-inflicted wound horror story. And we don't have pictures of the actual wound.
I could have sworn I sent you pictures of me with my head in my hand and all the minis across my table, but could I find them? Could I fuck?
To be honest with you, mate, I'm sure that we posted both on Discord, and I did actually think, I'm sure we had pictures because we shared them on stream. I could have, if I'd have had more time, I could have gone screen grabs from our old streams because I'm sure you held them on your desk cam at least to show people what had happened. But why don't you tell? Because obviously a lot of the people here tonight are veterans of our fucking inanity. But tell the people who might not be so familiar with how fucking gormless you are what actually happened.
I decided it'd be a nice idea to 3D print an entire Blood Bowl team.
A lot of people do. Common thought.
This is good. This is going well.
And it did go relatively well.
And I printed them all and I painted them all for a competition, didn't I?
They look beautiful. I mean, as people will see from the not very good photo that we managed to find, you did an absolute spanking job of painting them, mate. And I don't know, you're not the quickest, but that was what, 3-4 weeks work?
Yeah. But to be fair, 16 minis and tree men and nice characterful sculpts, etc.
I think because you did a lot of work on stream and then on Sunday nights when we get together with our gaming club on Discord. So I think you pretty much you broke the back of it in only a few weeks.
And it was all going well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did it? Took them to competition, played a couple of games with them.
Yeah.
Then I decided to carry them to club.
Yeah, you did. Well, it wasn't the first time you brought them to club, but I mean, obviously, now you come to club every week, don't you? So it's not as if you're not used to carrying miniatures around.
It's just that David decides to carry them in open-top Chinese containers.
Yeah. So Chinese containers, what it of course means is those horrible cheap plastic takeaway containers that you can buy for like 10 pence for 1,000 on eBay, and of course. You're shouting at the screen. They're great for carrying miniatures. I use them all the time. They've got them really sharp little lids that click down robustly. You can stack them. They're awesome. They are. But then there's the way David uses them.
Hang on. Do I have a live example somewhere?
Almost certainly.
Yes, I do. I have a live example because I haven't learnt my lesson.
Yeah, just to actually show that this is a completely self-inflicted wound.
I shall bring it into shot. Look at these minis. Look how they are stored.
Look at that. They're higher than. Even if you were to put a lid on, you would crush half of them. There's no internal padding. They're just literally tossed into the plastic container with that and plenty of air to rattle around like some demented maraca. If you were to put a lid on it, but why would you put a lid on it, David?
But if gravity happens, whee!
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, as a container, it does work brilliantly in that orientation, doesn't it?
Yep.
But obviously, when you're waddling towards the entrance of the club, a bit like
trying to open a door,
a bit like an 11. I don't know. This will probably go over the heads of a lot of you who are under 40 or even under 50, but if you're waddling towards the door of the club like an 11-year-old on the game show Crackerjack trying to play fucking Cabbage or Drop with an entire stack of fucking Chinese containers, boxes, car keys, and fuck knows what else, sort of like swaying like a drunken man in a breeze, then obviously what can happen is exactly what predictably did fucking happen. And they ended up all over the floor.
Gravity kicked in.
Yeah.
And it's not like they went onto carpet and they bounced nicely
No,
and
that's true. No.
Carefree away. No, it was hard fucking concrete.
Yeah, yeah. And of course,
and
if they'd have been hard plastic, they might have flexed and even bounced. But no, these were 3D printed with resin, weren't they? Sir?
Yes, they were resin.
Okay.
That's material renowned for being brittle as fuck.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was they impacted the ground, and then they became the world's best painted little hand grenades, didn't they?
Yep.
And they shattered into so many pieces. Exactly, Darren. Crackerjack. They shattered into so many pieces. It was a thing of I hesitate to say beauty.
Well, you weren't there to witness.
It was an impressive fucking mess. I'll give you that.
To be fair, so it was an entire roster of 16. Out of the 16, 15 went back together with very little effort and glue, because the thing about brittle materials is when they break, they give you a nice clean puzzle. So I had to match the leg to the miniature to get them back together.
Fucking hell.
And then just touch up a bit of paint that chipped, and we were golden. There is, however, one complete and utter casualty. I will try and find him on stream.
What's this, the guy with half a leg that was never
This
found?
is the guy that had a peg leg, that the peg leg's completely gone. I couldn't find the bit of the peg leg that had gone, and he therefore now lives in my window as a reminder of not stacking shit in open-top Chinese containers that I ignore routinely.
You keep him ever present and visible to achieve absolutely nothing.
He's my little mascot. Leave him alone.
Fucking, you are such a dickhead. Oh, dear God in heaven. Tim, you missed the beginning, mate. We've already done that bit. How hard it is to come up with ones. And I'm trying to remember what my third one was. I do remember thinking to myself, I know I'm not going to be able to come up with a good picture of it.
Is it play related?
Do you know what? That is the one thing that I couldn't. I really thought, oh, should we pick one from each topic? So we'll pick one like the collecting one where they basically fuck squats off. We'll pick the painting one with the Necron project that turned into a nightmare. And I thought gameplay, that's another big area. And I can hand on heart say, after 30 years of gaming, I have never had a war game board gaming experience where I was tempted to flip the table. It was that fucking toxic.
No, we've come close lately.
Are you thinking of Hobgoblin?
No.
That was one that occurred to me, but it wasn't. It was disappointing, but it wasn't a horror story.
Gloomhaven.
I do you know what I did? Do you know what? We'll put that one in. We'll put that one in. Actually, we'll make that my third choice. So I don't really have any pictures. If you watch our streams over the last few weeks, feel free to go back and trawl the back catalogue. We talked a lot about Gloomhaven, where David and I backed Frosthaven Gloomhaven, have all the stuff. Like most people in this hobby, I spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on shit that I never ever use because I'm an idiot, okay? And we finally decided we'd finished doing Arkham Horror, the board game, as a campaign, hadn't we, on our Saturday evening get-togethers? And we thought, we'll continue with that. We'll do Gloomhaven. Let's do Gloomhaven. Finally, let's get some value out of this. Oh my fucking good God, was that a trial. I
walked away from the first game with a fucking migraine. It was that bad.
We played and replayed that first scenario 3 or 4 times. I even lost count. We tried.
I think we did 2 or 3 retries. No, we did.
I think we did 2 with the models we wanted to play, and then we decided this is ridiculous. These models just don't work as a team. Then we went to the internet and said, okay, we're only 2 players. Tell us which 2 models we're supposed to be using to create some optimized tour de force so that we've got a cat's in fucking hell's chance of beating the first scenario of the game. And then we went with that recommendation and still got our asses handed to us. So then we said, okay, then let's dial it back to my first board game difficulties level 0 and fucking basically just push the envelope to see if we can get some enjoyment out of this game and not have it be a complete fucking chore. And to be fair, we finally got to the stage where I think we beat like the first mission on level 0, easiest mode possible, while strategizing completely and keeping no information hidden so that we could work as a team to beat the game. And I think we managed to beat that scenario with like 1 turn or one round of play left to spare.
Yeah.
Because in Gloomhaven, your characters go out of the game when you run out of cards to play. You sort of die.
That was after I had died that round as well, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I think I finished the game on my own, didn't I? Yes. Anyway. We then, so this is where it becomes a horror story, because you realise that, like an idiot, you'd believe, oh, this is the most popular game on Board Game Geek, and has been like for nearly a year or more than a fucking year. This must be the most awesome game in the world. I'm going to spend 300 quid on this Kickstarter and just buy everything, because it must be amazing. And then you actually put it on a table and play it, and it's like, what? Pardon? How much money have I just spent on this? Are you serious? And in the game's defense, we plodded on with it week after week or session after session. We are now about 4 or 5 sessions in, and would you say we're starting to enjoy it now, mate?
Yes, we're enjoying it. We're still playing on my first fucking board game
on level
difficulty.
0 difficulty mode, but at least we're finishing missions in a good time with breathing room. We're not feeling like we're fucking basically, on an SAS field test. It's fucking supposed to be a leisure activity. What the fuck? So I think this is a good one, mate. I think we'll put this in as our final hobby horror story of the evening, and that creates a nice little rounded set of experiences. Again, just for Tim's benefit, let's say it again. We struggled with all of our cumulative game. Well, we got 45 years between us gaming.
Something like that. 2012, 2013 is when I started, so that's 10 years.
10 years on top of my 30. And we struggled to come up with 3 really irritating and horrific hobby experiences. So, this hobby's basically fucking amazing.
Ewok's just come in here with a suggestion. Folklore the Affliction is way more streamlined and simple than Gloomhaven.
Thank you, mate. Never heard of it, but I will definitely explore it now that you've mentioned it.
Right. We're
Jerry's
nearly right.
Did his YouTube? Okay. Okay. There's obviously some background to that we've missed him. You'll have to sort of debrief us later. What's he deleted his YouTube channel for? Anyway.
We're nearly at the end of the stream.
Yes.
And rather than this being all doom and gloom and horror story related...
Oh, no, I've just had an awful thought. Does that mean the only way we're going to get input out of Jerry is if we have him on live every week?
Oh, fuck.
Quick! Discord Messenger!
Quick, pull the gaming Gandalf from under the desk and put him back away. So, after.
We could have him slide in. So what do you say, Jerry? That's awesome.
But rather than it be all doom and gloom, have you got anything that you thought would be an absolute horror story but actually turned out fucking amazing, Ginge?
Something that I thought was going to be a fucking wreck, but was not.
Because I've got one while you think, if you want.
Yeah, go on. You go. Do you know what? After you sort of like put the idea up there, I couldn't think of anything. Nothing came to mind.
So I have a hatred of painting a lot of exposed flesh. It's not my strongest suit when it comes to painting miniatures. It's not my strongest forte in general. There was a mini in the League of Infamy Kickstarter. I think he's called the Bosun. He's got a peg leg. He's an ogre. He's got lots of exposed flesh on him, but he's... Oh, no, it's not the Bosun. It's the guy with the guitar. Can't remember what the name is. We've mentioned him earlier on other streams. I decided, fuck it, I'm going to go for like a red skin tone, paint it up, but he's got a lot of exposed flesh. This is going to be a horror story. It's going to be a train wreck. And I said to you jokingly how do I rescue and hide the skin being a fuck up? And you said, oh, well, just put some tattoos on it, didn't you?
Yeah,
to a degree.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I went, that's going to be even worse because I can't paint skin and you can't just paint a tattoo flat and black. You've got to put highlights and stuff into it and shadows into it for it to actually look good. Do you know what I mean? On miniatures, having done a little bit of reading and research, and I'm like, I really don't like this.
To be fair, the other way to do it is mimic the way ink works in a real tattoo and make it translucent, so that the shading of the skin comes through it. But you carry on with your story.
But again, it's harder to do with the dark red skin tone that I was going with. I'd sort of paint myself into a corner here.
Yeah.
Carried on, got halfway through doing the red skin tone, and I was like, I'm really on the fence about this. I don't know whether to just strip it all off and go again or what. And you just said to me, just fucking persevere, didn't you?
Yeah. Just
go to where you were going to go, which I did with all the skin highlights. And I'm like, it's acceptable, but there is a lot of exposed shoulder, and I want to tidy that up and add some tattoos. So then I did a bit more digging on the internet and did a bit more research on like tattoos and when you're doing your blacks, blend your skin colours in, etc., and that kind of stuff. So I did that, just free-lined out the base of the tattoo, and I'm like, that's a bit of an odd shape, but we'll roll with it because again, you were pushing me on to persevere. Got it all done, and it actually looks fucking half decent. It looks pretty fucking good. Like, I got compliments on it from you and a couple of others.
Club painting competitions,
yeah,
didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I did. So here's me sat here going, it's going to be a horror story. It's going to be a mess, and actually, it's one of the minis I'm most happy with.
Yeah, I honestly, mate. In this vein of things that I was dreading or I wasn't convinced about but actually ended up enjoying, I can't think of anything because I think it's probably a personality thing. If I have reservations about hobby activities, whether they be games I'm going to play or
how you're painting or what you're doing,
if I've got reservations, I just walk away. Do you know what I mean?
You don't engage.
I don't take risks.
Actually, I've got one for you where you did take a risk and you actually quite enjoyed it. Your Iron Jaws, where I bullied you into doing that armor.
That's a good shout. That is. Yeah. So David, you'd done a project on your Iron Jaws where you'd followed. Is it Artis Opus?
Yes,
and it was a way to do coloured metallics using, was it contrast paints or inks over metallics?
Yeah, basically you do an undertone dry brushing in a metallic colour and then you put contrast over the top of it and it looks quite good.
Yeah, and basically he sort of like, and in fairness to David, it was a really good project. For me, the genius was his choice of skin colour, because having chosen as quite a vivid electric blue, and it wasn't washed out. It was quite dark.
Hang on. If you go to my camera,
your desk cam, you got one there. Let me just.
I've got one handy. Let me just go to Video Ninja.
Kill that. It's all right. You tell me. I'll see when you're set up to go, and I'll fade you in. The genius of the project was his choice of skin tone, which he did a sort of a yellowish olive drab color. It looks more yellow on the camera than it actually is in flare. It's not your classic cartoon green, but it works so well against that blue. It's a very good job. Anyway, he was high as a kite off the back of that project, and he was like, "Oh, you should do this, you should do this." And I was painting some Aurochs for Underworlds as it happens, and I was like, "Oh no, mate, it's too fucking." I watched the Artist Opus videos. He directed me to it, and immediately I was like, "That's hard work. Fuck that." We're going to do it Paul's tried and trusted way. And in the end, I sort of gave in to the peer pressure, and I just went. I didn't do it. I didn't copy artists. I mean, again, you guys who've been here for weeks and months know that I don't slavishly follow anything. I will take it, cogitate upon it, and then pluck what I want out of it and chuck the rest away. And I basically used the old GW inks in these hex pots. Who remembers those? I've got the purple ink. I've got it here, in fact. I've just picked it up completely by accident. I used that over a metallic base in several layers, mind you, because it doesn't. These things don't cover like modern inks. And do you know what? It was all right, and it did look quite good when I'd finished, and I was pleased I'd done it. So no, it is a good example, I guess, mate. Of it's again though, if I hadn't have been confident I could make it work, I wouldn't have done it. I would have bailed on it, even with endless peer pressure. I do think that there is a personality thing there, because honestly, I can't think of anything. I mean, even like you get it when we were in Scotland. Wargaming was very a small part of the community's hobby. It was very board gaming focused and that. And if people asked me to play games, I'd be like, "Do I really want to play that?" And if it's like, if it was a game that really didn't seem to me to be going to be giving me anything back, I'd be like, "I'm happy to sit this one out, guys. You go at it." And tell me about it, because no, it don't look like my sort of thing. Same's true of. I mean, I tried again in university days. Role playing was the cheapest of the hobbies, so we did more of that than anything. And I played 100 systems, half of which I can't remember the names of. All one-offs. I played the original Star Wars system. We played a ton of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I played a name of a system I can't even remember that was like Modern Warfare focused, and we did like an adventure where we had to rescue hostages off an airliner that was they were held hostage on a runway. So we did all sorts of things, but even those, some of them you walk away, you go, yeah, I'm probably not going to play that again, but that was fine. That was a bit of fun. Yeah, it's just, and again, maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I should just be grateful that I've not had any negative experiences, or so very, very, very few negative experiences in the hobby. But yeah, that's the way it's been for me, I guess.
So yeah,
I think we're done, aren't we, mate?
I think just to round out here, if you've got a horror story, share it in the comments below, because we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I guess everybody's got one, right? We've all got that one story of, oh my god, that was a fucking living nightmare, and I'm not doing that again. And maybe it was a bad game, maybe it was a bad hobby project, or a bad paint job, or let us know in the comments down below what was your hobby disaster or hobby horror.
I'll tell you the other thing we've learned tonight. I don't learn from mistakes. 2 masking jobs and dropping minis.
Yeah, whereas I do.
So yeah, there's that. I feel attacked, and I think it's time to end the stream before I get a kicking over Assassin's Creed.
Right, okay, guys. Thank you very much for taking part in the stream tonight. If you were in the chat, as usual, you guys make the stream It's amazing to have your support, and David and I really are grateful in ways that we can't express. If you're watching us later on YouTube, or if you're here tonight, please, if you can do only one thing, click the like button. It does help the stream. YouTube will push it a little bit harder for a few if it's liked by the people that viewed it. If you can find time to do any of the other stuff, share, comment, or subscribe, please do that as well. But do it only if you want to do it. Don't feel pressured into doing it. And we'll see you next week for yet another hobby stream. And we hope in the meantime you have a good week of gaming and have some fun playing with your little toy soldiers. And with that, I think it's good night.